Another test match, another similar result. India continue to show the rest of the world just why it is so difficult to come to India and win a test match. Bangladesh tried hard, couple of sessions, but then India just took the game to another level, and they were watching India through the glass, just receding far away into the distance. So many heroes for India, so much to talk about. Time to get on Cricbuzz Chatter. Time to get Dinesh Karthik. Good
Uh,
afternoon. Good afternoon, DK. You did almost everything right, except in the pitch report, specify the moment at which India will win.
At some point, I realized this was going to come. Sorry, Cricbuzz viewers. I said 1 o'clock. I thought Bangladesh tried hard to get there, but eventually the class of Jadeja and Ashwin shone through on day 4 as expected.
So many heroes for India in this test match. There was Rishabh Pant, there was Shubman Gill. I thought Yashasvi Jaiswal on the first morning, and with that fantastic catch, there was Jasprit Bumrah who bowled beautifully in the first innings to pick up 4 wickets. So many heroes, but this story was really about Chennai and Ravichandran Ashwin. And I'll tell you why I'm mentioning both. I thought Chennai provided a really good sporting wicket. I get very upset when people around the world say, oh, yeah, India, you win on dust bowls. No, we prepare good pitches. So I was very happy with the kind of surface they prepared. But this bond between Chennai and Ashwin, I mean, there are so many, Kolkata and Ganguly, Mumbai and Tendulkar. How much is Chennai and Ashwin in that league, DK?
It's a love story made in heaven, Harsha. And why I say that is from his childhood, wherever he's played cricket for Tamil Nadu, he's been an unreal off spinner. Now, it's just great to see him blossom into a very mature man who knows his game as well as anyone who's played the game and brings it out at the moment that he wants it to. Today was an example. The first day, he batted brilliantly. Second day, he bowled, didn't get a wicket. It's only happened twice in Chennai where he's bowled in an innings without a wicket. And then, last innings, when the ball started spinning, he again showed his class. And some of the records that he's tumbling is just quite flabbergasting to say the least. And you have to put him with the greats of the game who has played among all-rounders. You know, we speak about the number of hundreds and fifers taken in one game just behind Ian Botham. We speak about the number of wickets picked. He's just in 8th in that list or 7th. If you see the strike rates of the bowlers who have picked more than 400 wickets, only Dale Steyn ahead of him. Sometimes I feel we are a tad bit unfair to him when we say, oh, he's not done well here. Oh, he could have done better here. But, I mean, the record that he has, Arsha, I keep saying this always to my peers whenever I speak about him. There was a phase in Indian cricket. You could do away with 1 or 2 batters if they're not around, but you couldn't do away without an Anil Kumble. I think Ashwin has taken over that mantle where you can't play a home series without him. He is the deal breaker, as they say. It's a make or break if Ashwin is there in the team or not. That's the kind of impact he has. Yes, they have won the odd series without him, but those big moments in the big teams come. I mean, our Ashwin, what a player to have with the bat, with the ball, unreal stuff.
No, 37 5-wicket hauls, the same as Shane Warne. Murali was a beast. He got it 67 times, but 37 5-wicket hauls in a career. And it's interesting. He said to me at that post-match presentation something he's been telling me for a while about how he's enjoying the game a lot more. I think something changed, DK, around 2018, 19, and then through COVID, something changed in his life. And I think he stopped playing for landmarks, for to prove things to everyone. And I think if you can get to a stage where you say, why did I first start playing this game? I played it to discover how good I can be. I played it to discover how much fun there can be in this game. What are the limits I can reach? And the moment you do that, you play for a higher goal. And I get the feeling Ashwin has now got there. He seems so relaxed. He's constantly talking about the contribution of others. And I like the fact, in Hindi, there is a word which we use very often in the context of Indian cricket. They say he's got a kida. He just loves cricket. When he's not playing, he'll go and play tennis ball cricket somewhere. He'll sit in the auction for the TNPL. He'll go and bat at number 3 in the TNPL. Even Rohit Sharma referred to that and had a laugh and said we all sat to watch him bat up the order. So yeah, there's something very special about him. I thought I would ask at some stage whether how much longer you thought he would play, but hang on, he's just got 100. He's taken 6 wickets. I will not ask you that question.
I don't think he would have really had a problem even if you had asked it. He's at that stage where he's made peace with a lot of things. A young Ashwin was constantly trying to prove the world how good he was. Remember, he came in replacing one of the greats of the game, Harbhajan Singh, and those were not easy shoes to fill and big boots, they say. And Harbhajan is about as big as it gets, along with Anil Kumble. And he replaced him. Questions were asked. Then they asked him about how he would do abroad. Slowly but steadily, he started answering all those questions over a period of time. But the man, as you said, in COVID, there were a few things that happened internally. I feel, being alone for long periods of time. He started his YouTube channel. I think in many ways, the distraction, cricketing wise, in fact, outside of the cricketing ground, that he is able to foresee for the future. Because as you come to the end of your career, the one thing that cricketers would like, or for sports people, what's after. But if you've kind of made things ready for you when you leave the game, it leaves you in a better place to go into that new era of your life where you move on from the playing and you go on to do other things. And I think he's slowly but steadily sorting it out. He looks like he could be someone who'd be interested in commentary. He's got his YouTube channel. He's also someone who's interested in coaching. He'll dabble in a few things, but he has created those opportunities nicely for himself. So that has given the piece to him, say, play your cricket, enjoy it while it lasts, and do whatever you can. And sky
You
is the
know,
limit for him.
on his channel, he talks about kutti stories, but his own story is not a kutti story. It is a Peria story, but DK pronounces it better. What kind of story is it?
Real story. It's a bit like Harry Potter series. He can write 7 novels about it,
Peria,
I feel.
huh? Peria
Yeah,
story. Okay, I will record that and send it to him, saying your story is a Peria story.
correct. I think it is. It is, as you would
Yeah.
know.
Even in terms of numbers, you look down the all the test matches played in the WTC cycle, and there's always this conversation of Ashwin and Lyon and Ashwin and Lyon, and Lyon is effusive in his praise of Ashwin. Ashwin likes the way Nathan Lyon bowls, but 11 5-wicket hauls in 36 games is brilliant. And Bumrah's got 7 in 27. That is very special too. But there's a reason that India and Australia have broken away from the pack in Test match cricket. And I thought that graphic showed that. When you've got a great bowling side, you break away quickly.
In Test cricket, having a good bowling is imperative. There's this usual cliched saying in cricket: batters win you matches, bowlers win you championships. It is credible and true most of the time, but in Test cricket, it is the norm. You have to pick 20 wickets to win a match. As simple as that. In T20, you can still pick 4 5 wickets, but if they score under what you've scored, you win a game. In Test cricket, that's not the case. You have to get 20 wickets, which basically means you need a high quality bowling attack. And that's what India possesses today, exactly as Australia. And you shouldn't be surprised if you see both of them meeting early part of June next year again in the World Test Championship finals.
I think more and more that is a given how India are playing in home conditions. Let's come back to the final day's play. We knew it was a matter of when, not a matter of if. And the way Shakib and Shanto played, I thought they played pretty well in that first hour. Uh, Shanto, we can overlook in all that's happened around, but I thought he played a wonderful innings, and it'll be very good for his confidence and in his role as a captain. But the way India attacked, it was interesting. He didn't go to Ashwin straight away. He gave Siraj an extended bowl. It was a fiery spell from Siraj. Maybe it was Rohit's way also of saying, look, I can go to Ashwin straight away, but you know what? I want to see what you have to deliver. And you look at 10 overs, none for 32, but it's a fiery spell from him. Akashdeep was always going to be the fifth bowler, but the moment Ashwin came along, I mean, it was like saying, why were you waiting so long? And as soon as he came on, Shakib got out. That was the beginning of the end. Very happy for Jadeja too, we're going to talk a great deal about Ashwin in this game. It was at Chepauk. But look at Jadeja. He came in at 140 for 5. He's got 86 runs, batting easily, like Ashwin, batted easily. 2 wickets in the first innings, 3 in the second, always live wire in the field. I mean, we've talked about this before, DK, but a day will come when both are retired, when we will sit back wistfully, because even you will grow old one day, and think about what a great combo India had.
Shots fired. Everybody has heard that. Okay, now moving on to the question slash doubt that Harsha has. Actually, he has all the answers. Sometimes he just prods me to see, Dinesh, do you have that knowledge? I know what the answer is, but I'll still ask you anyway. In this case,
No,
that's the question.
that's
So I'm
sometimes,
asking you.
but I'll tell you, your young generation looks at the game so differently. I'm in awe of how you guys look at the game. So it's best to hear from you.
Jadeja, for me, Harsha, and it's a reflection of what you said actually. Post 2017, 2018, he is the most improved all rounder. I think what he has learned is how to use his talent and convert it into results. He was always someone who could bat a bit, bowl well, but today he's become that reliable batter. Under pressure, he's got runs. You send him up the order, he gets runs. A good player of fast bowling. In fact, I feel Ravindra Jadeja and Akshar Patel are similar all-rounders, not the same. What I mean by that is their skills and strengths, even in left-arm spin, is different, and fast bowling as well. I feel Akshar Patel is a much better player of spin as an all-rounder, whereas Ravindra Jadeja is a very good player of fast bowling. And that comes through. Yes, today was a tough pitch, but you see him, the way he bats in tough conditions. Take the 2019 World Cup when everybody thought it was done and dusted. He forged a partnership with Dhoni and had an attacking one, won the 2023 IPL towards the end, the shots that he played. He's had plenty of great results around him, but the test cricketer in him has defined his growth as a player. The all-rounder that's come about. Slight conditions where spin can play a part. Who do you want in your team? Ravindra Jadeja. If the fast bowlers are bowling well, someone who can go and fight it out, Ravindra Jadeja. A man who at the start had his troubles with the short ball, today has developed into a full-grown all-rounder who you can trust and send whether you play in Chennai or in Sydney. Now, that's how much the man has grown. I have enjoyed watching his journey as a cricketer. He again is an example of maximizing your talent by keeping it simple. On the other end, Ashwin is a man who has maximized his talent by using every ounce of energy and cells in his brain. So, two different cricketers, two different all-rounders, but doing it their way and still being successful.
Engineering graduates, DK, engineering graduates, no? Ashwin, engineer, things proper, you know. I was also looking at Jadeja on the field. Sometimes age shows in little ways. Sometimes with the eyes, sometimes with the legs. So I was looking at two people on the field today. I saw Virat Kohli walking past me. I'll tell you exactly what I did. He was just walking past. I was waiting to do the interviews in the morning. Without realizing, I just looked at him physically and I pulled my stomach in. It was not a plan. It just happened to me. I just looked at him and said, he looks such a physical specimen. And I think for a lot of younger players, there's a huge story there. Or even people who are turning 30 today. That here are two players who are getting on the wrong side of 35, but are in prime physical shape. You look at Jadeja, there's no sign that he's slowing down in the field. None at all. I was looking closely. He is eating up the ground. He's still a panther in the field. Oh, I could call him panther, leopard, cheetah, whatever. I'm just back from Masai Mara, so I'll tell you, I can use all the different cats' names over there. But that was very good to see. But I liked Yashasvi Jaiswal in the field. I thought it was a sharp catch at short leg today that started it off all Shakib. So a lot of good signs.
Also, I'll tell you what Jadeja likes the most, Harsha. Racehorse. If you call him that, if you refer to him as that, that he will enjoy the most. But you're absolutely bang on. Fitness and the way that culture is spread has come from that man who you saw and pulled your stomach in. Nothing, period. That line starts there and ends there. It started there. And the culture that he set is going to help Indian cricket in the current and in the near future for sure. And Jadeja, interestingly,
Just a
is
quick
a
one before you
natural
finish.
athlete.
Sometimes when you get to an age, your stomach becomes a little convex. Then sometimes it's absolutely flat, which is good. I look at Virat Kohli and I think it's concave.
Concave with a few abs, or six to be precise.
Yeah.
He's again someone who's so disciplined. But sticking to Jadeja, moving on to Yashasvi. These boys, the attitude they have. Sometimes I feel sad, Harsha, actually, to think that maybe in a couple of years we don't know if the Indran Chandran pair is going to be around. They have really helped India dominate in Test cricket. You ask any cricketer, Harsha.
Kamal Hassan movie.
Anyone. No. Rajinikanth. Tillu Mullu. You are anyone, Harsha. Anyone. I'm not talking about Indians, but any other country, they'll say the toughest place to come and win a series in Test is India. And these two are the primary reason as to why it is tough.
So good result that from India. I was just going through the rundown that the producer has put out. I must tell you, first of all, our producer is an intense RCB fan. So he shows a great bias towards DK in the rundowns that he made.
And it is good, Harsha. It should be that way because I feel you've dominated this host circuit too much. You are the best going around. It is but too obvious in the cricketing world that all the questions are asked by you, at times knowing the answer. That is the better part of it as well. But today, I get the opportunity to not only go into Harsha, but also ask him that hotspot question, which I've been waiting to ask. Yeah. Let's make it very clear. In the Cricbuzz Chatter show, over a period of time, people who have been watching have declared, if not told us, who is the young one, who is the wise one. Even though I find it hard to say. But as we move on.
Good choice of words.
We've seen Australia dominate early 2000s, and you have been at your prime when West Indies dominated in the 80s. Now, moving on to this era where Indian cricket is at, is this India's era, Harsha? Are they dominating Test cricket?
You know, DK, 5-6 years ago, I was free one evening. I still remember just looking out of the window and dreaming. And I dreamt that given the way the cards are falling in place, India should try and become what Australia and the West Indies were, and that is dominate across categories, dominate across locations, dominate across all forms of the game. And I think everything is ready for India to do that. India's won in Australia. That is huge. India's won in Australia. India's won recently in the West Indies. I know that series was 2-2, but India won in England as well. But there is just one thing that to me is coming in the way, and that is South Africa. I think India have gone there twice, and both times India could have won against a vulnerable South African side. And after winning a test, it became 2-1. India came back, drew this 1-1. Two-test series are hopeless. It's like ordering a thali, eating the papad and everything, and saying that's the end of the meal. No, I don't like, which is what I'm going to order shortly. But I don't like those two-test series. But yes, at the moment, because in home conditions, India is unmatched. You look at Australia in their glory years, West Indies in their glory years, they didn't have the same home record. So I think very, very close to dominating there. But across formats, you know, if you look at what happened after the 2022 World Cup game, DK, you were part of that squad there, the 2022 World Cup. And I think you might have said that Rohit said we need to play differently. India have won 17 out of 19 World Cup games after that. 17 out of 19. Won 10 World Cup games before losing that final. Won all 8 games in 9 games in the T20 World Cup. So across formats, this domination is at a level that is beyond anything that I have seen in these few years that I have covered cricket.
It's quite astounding, first, for you to bring out the stats, but also giving viewers a relative idea of what it was in the 80s to how South Africa dominated, but also that South Africa is a very interesting question, a very interesting puzzle that I have found hard to solve, because when you go into that series and when we have our preview shows, you can take and see any preview show. We have almost said every time India has the best chance here, but for some strange reason, that hurdle hasn't been crossed. I can't put a finger on it and say why. I think South Africa and England, when India go and beat both those teams there in their home, that's when we will say it is an era where it is unparalleled what this team has done. And I think to a fair extent, that's what Australia did in their, in their glory years, as you call it. But it's been a test series with a start where a Bangladesh came in with confidence so far, but have been said, you know what, I understand you've beaten a good side, but we are a different kettle of fish. It's not going to be easy to beat us at home. Leave alone, if you can compete and come hard against us, that itself is a task of its own.
About asking questions. I was very lucky today. As soon as the game was over, I went running down. I got to ask the questions today. And there's this young man. Social media creates stories about him, but I have a very soft corner for Rishabh Pant. Just for the way he plays, his attitude. Sometimes you get the feeling he just says something, but I could see the emotion on his face. Finally, DK, you played the game at the highest level. This game, after all the technique, everything is done, is about emotion. And he says he was emotional after the 100, coming back to Test cricket. And he says this, where I belong the most. And that is true. That will change. I can tell you that will change because he's too good a player not to change that. But at this stage, being on where I belong the most, being on the field gives me the maximum satisfaction. There were many happy moments in this. Watching Ashwin's family celebrate with him as he achieved another landmark, watching Shubman Gill go to another century. There's so many things, but I just thought Rishabh Pant comes back after almost 700 days and scores 100. It was, I mean, life's been hard on him, but life has started being kind on him and may it always be that way.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree with you more. He is another gem in Indian cricket because of the way he plays and also how he carries himself off the field in the social era world. He gives enough snippets for a lot of the young boys and girls, not only to have a laugh, but also show how hard it is to work and stay there. And that is great to see.
So there you are. That was the game. One last point I want to talk to you about, and this is about because you know this person so well. As I was going for the just before the last wicket fell, there was Jadeja on the boundary before he went and took the last wicket, fooling around with Sridhar, with Abhinav Mukund. They're all standing over there, looking, feeling very happy. Ashwin, the smile has never left his face. And then Rohit Sharma comes in. He can be a little serious sometimes at post-match presentations, but he was jovial. He was jolly. I sense that there is a different air in this dressing room that they are breathing, and I think you could I sense that, but I've never been inside, so I don't know. But I think Rohit, that is one of his achievements. I suspect Rohit has managed to generate.
Have to admit and say it is a lot more calmer dressing room, more fun dressing room. Also, credit to Rahul Dravid for created that kind of an atmosphere in the last 3 years that he has been part of that dressing room as a head coach. The Rohit Rahul era has been a very strong era for Indian cricket. If you do remember, the Gary Dhoni era were also something like that. That I was also privy to, and this one I was also part of. So I know how it feels. Though I think that's where Gambhir and Rohit will have to forge a partnership and keep that calmness going, but also be adaptable enough if the situation rises to do what's required to get them to do their best. It is a series where right now they know all things, no disrespect to Bangladesh, is more than done and dusted. Yes, Bangladesh could surprise us in Kanpur, but you get the feeling that India is still with the confidence they have. But the real challenge lies at the end of the year. That's when slowly but steadily the true colors of everybody will come through, because Australia is a series which, if you don't start well, it will start throwing you some questions that you might find answers very hard to come by.
Before a lot of people start to search for meanings, and social media always does that. This is not to talk about how the atmosphere used to be before, but it's just the personality of a leader that has now spread to everybody else. Everybody comes with their own personality, with whatever is good from their point of view. Dhoni's personality was one, Ganguly's personality was one, Virat Kohli's personality was more in your face, come, let's go win. I've often talked about let's give them hell for 60 overs as being one of the great lines in our history. That was Kohli. What I like about this is that Rohit has managed that his personality is now the personality of the team, and that is the sign of a leader. Quick one on Bangladesh. There's not a lot to write home about, to be honest, today. Lots on the first day, a little bit on the second, but I was very happy from their point of view for Najmul Hussain Shanto, because I've seen him play well in the past. I've always thought he's a good player, but as a captain, he hadn't scored enough runs. And DK, you know that well. If as a captain you're not scoring enough runs, even though you have to separate both roles, it's not that easy if you're not scoring runs yourself. And I thought he batted beautifully today, yesterday and today. Pick the aggressive option whenever possible, batted deep. That'll be the big plus for Bangladesh going into Kanpur.
He led the side well. The scores might not reflect it, but that's only them There's only that much you can do as a captain. And I like the way he rotated his bowlers. That's his skill with his captaincy. But what came to the fore in the second innings was his grit and his knowledge base as to how to play in conditions which are not too conducive to, say, stroke making. At the start, he was little reluctant probably to play those big drives, but once he got going, he played some lovely shots. What I liked about his inning is his use of sweep and reverse sweep to good effect. That's where he really troubled both the spinners. At times, you realize that they found it hard to bowl to him. Let's be honest. I think he played some superb shots, and he was playing the field as well. If you kept the deep point fine, he played it square. If you kept it square, he played it fine. So that's a very good skill to have, and I in fact pointed it out in the com box as well. But what will be the biggest takeaway for Bangladesh is, here is a man who's shown that he's tactically astute, has the respect off the field, but now is backing it up with performance, and that is very important. Words can only take you that far. After that, you need performances to back it up as well.
He's only 26. I mean, if things go well for him, he could be a captain for a very long time. So, yeah, that's it. Chennai, India have done well once again in Chennai, going 1-0 up. Let's look ahead a little bit and let's go fast forward. India announced the same side for the Test match in Kanpur. No surprise at all. I think 10 will pick themselves for the next Test match. Do you see a Kuldeep or an Akshar coming in Kanpur, or do you think you'll still get a good surface and still play 3 quicks?
I feel Kuldeep or Akshar will definitely come in place for Akashdeep. The pitch in Kanpur is not going to be too conducive to fast bowling. It'll stay low, black soil pitch. I've seen the UP Premier League that happened at a similar timeline last year. It's not a great place for fast bowlers to be bowling long spells. We'll see one of the spinners come through. And Kuldeep, to be fair, is my preferred option as I sit here, because he gives a good variety to their attack, and the local boy as well. That should not play a part, but it will help him personally if he plays. And India look a very solid side. Their batting has looked good. Yes, the top order had a bit of a wobble in the first innings, but they came through in the second confidently, and they look to use that confidence to keep propelling forward.
And I'd like to see if the track is, if it turns out to be a turn, I'd like to see how India bat on it, because the numbers are telling a story. There's a lot of chatter about how India is playing spin and not playing as well as before. So I'd like to see how they take on that challenge. And I'd like to see Kuldeep get a bowl in. I see Kuldeep being a part of the series in Australia. And the more overs he gets behind him, the more wickets he gets, the greater the confidence. He's a character. I mean, sometimes he comes and talks to you in his own brand of language. You cannot understand what he's saying, but he's a fun character. He was trying to explain something to me in great detail today while I was going up to talk to Rishabh. I don't have his number, but I'll try and get it and message him. I didn't have a clue what he was saying. But actually, on Kutti Stories, he said he wanted to be a football manager. So that's a story in itself. But he's a fabulous character, and I think he could be a match winner in Australia as well. So there you are. That's it about Chennai. That's it about Kanpur. What about the World Test Championship table? We keep talking about 16 Test matches that can only happen if India make the final. How do India not make the final from here? I mean, if India win each of the 5 Test matches at home, a draw in Australia is good enough. But I mean, even if you win 4, I mean, I don't see India going to Australia and saying 1 draw. You can't go and win a series like that. So I think it's pretty safe to say it's the 11th of June. I think at Lord's. I think it's pretty safe to say that that India will be there, and DK will be driving up from his mansion by the Thames.
How I wish that was true. To have a mansion next to Thames. That would be quite
No,
the life.
no, you don't have a mansion by the Thames.
Where, Harsha? Matches are getting over in 4 days.
Look at that! Look at that! It was great fun. It was great fun. I hope you enjoyed the Cricbuzz Chatter. I'll be on my way
Harsha,
to
but I want to ask you, Harsha, what did you have for dessert these last 3 days? I've got too many people asking me this and saying, please ask Harsha. Only day 1, I can say he came, he ate dosa, but didn't eat anything after that. What has your indulgence been in the last couple of days in Chennai? I cannot keep saying I don't know to these people. Please enlighten us.
I'll tell you, I went for lunch on day 1, and
Okay.
there was plain strawberry ice cream.
Mm.
Purely out of respect for the ice cream, I had 1 teaspoon.
Good teaspoon, but you
Out
weren't
of respect
impressed.
for the
So
ice cream.
the strawberry standards weren't great here. You could understand it's a warm
No.
place. Strawberry is
But the
not
next day that I
good to
went,
be eating. Yeah.
It was vanilla ice cream. I said,
Okay.
life cannot be vanilla. So the truth is, I have not had any ice cream. I'm going to go home today. I know there is something in the fridge, unless someone has finished it in my absence. I'm going to go and dig it out. Last evening, I was planning to go somewhere, but Murli Karthik's room is next to mine and it was open, the door. Next thing I knew is it was late at night and I was coming back to my room. So it's been good fun though. Chennai is good fun. The highlight to me was, and even DK cannot deny that, was the mansion by the beach. It's got Ikopuram. What is the name of that area? It
Akkarai.
starts with I.
Akkarai. Injambakam.
Injambakam. Because while we were there, everyone was trying to put on the maps how far is Injambakam. But that was one of the highlights. And one day I'm going to go and stay there. When he's away, he won't even know it's so big. I can stay there for a month. He won't know. But he has to go to Kanpur, and unfortunately, I won't be going to Kanpur, so I will get some respite from this young man's banter. You?
People have to ask where you're going. Is it Kenya or is it America? Where is the next holiday that you're
I'm
off
going
to,
home on a
Harsha?
holiday.
This
I'm going
mid-age
home on a
crisis you
holiday.
have in terms of making up for lost time and enjoying your holidays. Where is this coming from?
Ayyo. Ayyo. One more use of the word ayyo. I think we can use it about 20 different ways, but this is just one. Ayyo, I'm going home.
All right. We'll buy
See
that
you on.
moment.
Yes. Cricbuzz Chatter, of course, will keep coming to you right through this season, and it'll always be fun. We like bringing cricket to you this way because that is what cricket eventually is: an emotion, a feeling, a conversation. And I hope you enjoyed this. We'll see you again from Kanpur.